I know that you guys always love to roast me for not talking about certain sports like golf and tennis, and I try really hard. Sometimes I just completely forget the schedules, and I get all mixed up. Today, I got all mixed up. I saw a tweet about the Ryder Cup. I immediately texted this next guest, panicking because it was 4:30. It was literally an hour ago. I said, Cam, I said we would do Ryder Cup, and I totally forgot. I blanked. It's my crazy time of year when MLB is getting down to the wire, going close to the playoffs, NFL season. The Ravens make me want to jump off a bridge. So we're going to bring on a friend of mine who's from that Baltimore area. He understands my pain with the Baltimore Ravens, Mr. Cam Rogers. Welcome to the show.
The legend is here, Ariel. It's so good to be with you. Congrats on all your success. And oh my God, talk about coming up in the clutch. 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, and the king is here.
I am so excited, and I found out that you have a new nickname, the Chief Vibes Officer, so you bring the vibes everywhere you go.
I certainly do. I'm actually back in the hometown, which is always a big deal. The red carpet arrival. I'm going out later. Autograph, selfies, all the things, Ariel. It's not easy being me, but someone has to do it.
Cam Rogers, if you don't know him, he's on the Believe Network, Fox 5 DC. You can catch him there talking all things sports, but we're bringing him here to talk Ryder Cup because I am very excited to get his thoughts on the big event coming up this weekend. And you like USA, minus 150. I mean, that is a lot of juice to be laying.
A lot of juice, but worth the squeeze, honestly, Ariel. The Europe team hasn't won on U.S. soil dating back to when we were in high school, 2012. So it's been quite some time. We're playing at Bethpage Black. We're talking about the New York crowd. You know New York fans, Ariel, and they're going to be crazy for this event. This is not like any other event on the PGA Tour calendar. You can be loud. It's almost like Live in a sense now. And so I think that's going to be a big time factor. I think if you look at it from a neutral field perspective, the European team is better on paper, but I think the home field advantage is such a big factor here for the U.S. side. You have Scottie Scheffler, the best golfer in the world right now. Put that all together, and I do think they're going to end up winning this thing. I don't think it'll be decided probably until the latter stages of the singles when we see them all play together on Sunday. So it's going to be a while till we see the results. It's going to be close, but I do think U.S. does win.
What is it about? I know you mentioned the crowd, crazy New Yorkers. What is it about maybe the course or maybe what is it about the home field advantage that you feel that they have an advantage or they have an edge, Team USA?
Yeah, I think the crowd is the biggest factor, right? Okay. But the other thing, too, is these guys on the U.S. side have a lot more opportunity to practice unless, the European guys want to go across the pond multiple times to understand the golf course a little bit more. So from a proximity standpoint and a learning standpoint, the advantage is with the U.S. side as well. I will say a big storyline, Ariel, going into this Ryder Cup was whether Keegan Bradley, the captain for the U.S. side, was actually going to pick himself to be on the team. And he was getting a lot of outside pressure from the media and what have you to not do that from an optics perspective. But I would argue that he probably should have picked himself to be on this team. He earned it. He won the Travelers Championship this year, had a really nice run at the FedEx Cup playoffs, finishing T7 at the Tour Championship. So if the U.S. side loses, everybody is going to be pointing to this. This is going to be a whole lot of Monday morning quarterbacking, if you will, if they do lose, because Keegan Bradley could have picked himself, but he didn't. So that's just a side there. But I think, overall, the chemistry for the U.S. side is probably a bigger advantage than the European side. So that's also something to take into account.
No pressure there, Mr. Bradley. Hopefully you don't make a bad self-inflicted decision. People don't normally love to, or let's just say for the people that are watching that don't normally bet golf, but they'll bet any of the majors. They'll bet the Ryder Cup because they love their country. What advice do you have for people that may not understand the markets, maybe looking for some props, maybe looking for just a way to get a little bit of action on this?
Well, if you're starting out in golf betting, this is probably one of the hardest tournaments to handicap because you don't know who's going to be playing on Saturday. We know everyone's going to be playing on Sunday for the singles. We have the pairings for tomorrow. But if you're trying to place a bet on, say, the top scorer for the U.S. side, you don't know, and it's very unlikely that Colin Morikawa is going to play all of his opportunities throughout the weekend. We know Scottie Scheffler will. We know Rory McIlroy will. So that kind of narrows down the field a little bit, but also it's an element of a guessing game. So I think that's something to keep in account. And then, team cohesion. There are some pairings that know each other very well. John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton know each other very well. Patrick Cantlay, Xander Schauffele have played together at the Zurich Classic and other team events. But other guys don't know each other so well in a team capacity. One of the bugaboos for the U.S. could be, where does Bryson fit in? Because we know he's very individualistic. He plays the Bryson game. Can he be a good teammate? That is a big-time question for the U.S. side. So I would say it's really difficult to handicap from these matchup perspectives. You can find some edges, and I do have one tomorrow. I do believe that the Scottie Scheffler pairing is going to win tomorrow, and I also think the Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay pairing is going to win tomorrow with that chemistry in mind. Again, Cantlay and Xander, they have not really had a great season to their standards, but again, they've played together so many times. That's where you can find an edge in the markets. But if you want to keep it simple, I do think USA is going to win this thing. And I think on singles day, it's going to be the US's side as well. But yeah, I would say it's very difficult to really map things out because there's still a whole lot of uncertainty, certainly with Saturday.
You're talking about, listen, usually golf, we get Thursdays. And then you've got these day 2 foursomes that you think could be a winner, singles that could be. Walk us through the Ryder Cup format.
Yes. So we have a total of 28 points to be had. The team that gets past 14 points will win the Ryder Cup. If it's 14-14, the defending champion keeps the cup. That would be the European side. You can actually bet on a tie, which I believe is plus 1,000. Why not? Nobody likes rooting for a tie, but go ahead. I mean, the odds are juicy. You love that. So you have a round of foursomes in the morning. Then you have 4-ball, which is best ball. I know it gets confusing. Foursomes is alternate shot. 4-ball is best ball. Then you do it again on Saturday. So it's 2 and then 2. And then on Sunday, it's singles. Everybody plays. Not everybody plays tomorrow and Saturday. First team to get to 14.5 will win the Ryder Cup. And I do think that's going to be the U.S. side. So that's how it's all mapped out. And I think why a lot of people enjoy the television experience, Ariel, certainly being there, is the not high decorum and the buttoned up nature that you get with the Masters or other major championships or even regular PGA Tour stops. It's very much like the Waste Management Phoenix Open or a Live Tour event times 10. The crowd is going to be insane for this. If you guys recall the US Open at Bethpage, I want to say it was 2004 or something like that. The crowd was so crazy with Sergio Garcia that he had to step off multiple times and collect himself. And that was a regular US Open, not the Ryder Cup. So get ready.
I'm excited. I'm excited to root for Team USA, especially because you like them. And, I'm just a USA person. But day 2, foursomes winner. You do like Europe there. How come day 2 foursomes?
He's here for the European side to win. And I do think if you factor in the alternate shot format, typically that favors the European side. I know I talked about the U.S. probably this year has better cohesion overall, but historically speaking, the European side has done better over the course of the last 10 to 20 years. And so if there were to be a time for them to actually get on top, I think day 2 alternate shot makes a lot of sense to me. They could certainly win alternate shot tomorrow. I think the U.S. side, though, does sort of put their foot down and set a statement, especially with the crowd. By day 2, though, I think the European side settles in a little bit, Ariel, in the morning, and they win that round, and we go to best ball where the US side could win. But yeah, I do think that's some good value there. You're getting plus money as well.
Cam Rogers, thank you so much for coming on at the absolute last minute to save us and give us some Ryder Cup action going into the weekend. I appreciate you. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk again soon.